Hey, before we get going on the orgy episode, I want to tell you guys that I have a big announcement. I have well, let's see. Let's start that over. That was bad. I'm so bad at this shit. Hey, before we get into this episode, I just want to let you know that I have a big announcement. I am recording a new comedy special.
What? Get the fuck out of here.
And this one's going to be at the fucking Agora.
That's insane.
Yeah.
That is insane.
Yeah,
I love the Agora. That's like one of my favorite venues for shows and stuff.
I'm filming a special at the Agora. It's going to be December 22nd.
Hold on, let me put it in my phone.
Yes, you can get tickets. The pre-sale is this Wednesday. I'll put the link in the episode description with pre-sale Squire. And I think if you use the promo code WMMS, you can get $5 off your tickets. And then there's another venue pre-sale on Thursday. I don't remember what. I think that's just Agora. And then they go on sale on Friday. So filming a comedy special at the Agora. So I need a lot of people to come because that place is fucking huge.
Bring your whole family.
Bring everybody.
I take it ahead of time.
It's going to be so much fun. And Mary Santora's hosting and opening up.
Yeah.
And then Martin Malloy's going to do like a quick set. And then I'm going to go up there and do an hour. And hopefully this is the best thing that ever happens to me. Because I think it will be.
It will be.
Fuck yes.
That rules, man.
That is so
you.
exciting.
I'm so excited about it. It's
Hell
going to
yeah.
be cool.
Congrats.
I'm very nervous.
No.
It's just the ticket sales. The ticket sales is what the material's fucking so good. And I have a lot of faith in the material. I just need to get, it's just a lot of seats to fill.
Yeah.
So I need you, Cleveland. I need you. So get your tickets. Tell other people to buy tickets. It's going to be fucking incredible. And then you might be wondering, like, where is it going to go? I don't know yet, because the way we shoot these is you shoot it and then you try and sell it.
Oh, okay.
So I'm working at the production company that sold some pretty serious specials before. So we're going to, shoot for Netflix or HBO or whatever. So we'll see who goes for it. But this is this isn't like I'm very proud of my other specials, but those were made for bare bones. This is a huge production.
Big time.
Yeah, big time.
To the Agora, for fuck's sake.
Yeah. So please get your tickets and come see me record my new special at the Agora on December 22nd.
Fucking do it.
This is the Bill Squire Show.
All right. Yeah.
Good. I was yawning. It kind of looked like I did it.
Coming for your
I still
crown.
got it.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to this week's episode of the Bill Squire Show. I'm your host, Bill Squire, and I am here with Tommi LC.
Hi.
Okay Pants.
The whole police department here is here, ladies and gentlemen.
And we're cops.
We back.
We're all cops.
Tonight.
I'm only a cop because of you guys.
Danzig's tomorrow, so or by the time you hear this.
And Friday, I'm not going to be a cop at all.
Friday, no.
I gotta
good.
edit the
You're not gonna
episode that
be
we
with
just
us,
did
so-
tonight and
Yeah.
post it. So that's
What-
why I'm a cop
Yeah.
tonight.
Okay.
What'd you say,
You have
Tommi?
an excuse. What did I say?
Oh, I thought
I don't remember what I
said.
said. I literally just said it.
Well,
You're Karen, just bring it down a little bit because you just get so leany when you lean back and it was like literally just your head. It looked weird.
it's funny.
Yeah.
It's funny framing. Okay, how's this? Do you get the whole fucking
That's
thing?
better. Yeah, that's better. So you went to Chappelle on Friday.
Yes.
How was that?
Really good. I
Yeah.
mean, I have seen him. That's, I believe, the third time I've seen him in my life.
Yeah.
And I could tell you, actually getting into the show, I would rather get on a Spirit and Frontier flight at the same time, hungover with no caffeine in me, than go and enter that show again because they do the no cell phone thing.
And it fucking takes forever.
It took forever.
Sucks not having your phone. There is a
what
moment.
What do they do?
So they give you like a pouch you put it in.
Okay.
And so the one thing that's kind of fun, if you get there early enough and you're not like in your seats, you just kind of wander around, like you run into people and you're just like it feels like yesteryear because people aren't on their phone. So like in the experiences that I've had where they like put your phone in a yonder bag at comedy shows and stuff like that, especially at Rocket Mortgage Fieldhouse, when you're just kind of walking around on that concourse outside, you like bump into people like, hey, and you're like, where are you sitting? You like got to take out your little piece of paper that they write it on,
Yeah,
and
Post-it note.
Yeah,
they give, and that's the other thing is you're waiting for them to sort of take your ticket to the door, and they're lined up down the street. So then they have someone coming down the street with like these little Post-it notes. They go, "Can I see your ticket on your phone?" And they write down your ticket number, and they don't tell you whether it's just like it's.
You didn't know your phone was going to be. You didn't know about that.
I knew the phones was going to think, but I'm such a moron, and we don't think about this stuff that I didn't realize the note was
what that was.
You could present it to the usher.
Yeah,
and that was basically your ticket.
Oh, did you throw it away?
No.
Okay.
I was like, dude, for a second, because I'm that level of like a moron.
Yeah.
I almost thought about it, but thankfully, because we had fantastic seats.
Yeah.
Like, I got like third row floor seats for like nowhere near as much as I thought that would be.
Really? How much?
$200 a seat.
That's about what I paid, because I bought a pair and then I gave them away in that contest that I did. But they were not that close.
I mean, like literally, I could have reached out and touched the stage.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Because like
that makes a huge difference too. Because I've been to enough comedy shows at Rocket Mortgage Fieldhouse where it kind of sucks when you're just watching it on the screen.
I don't want to be sitting like in the upper decks trying to watch a guy 5,000 feet away.
Yeah.
Just wait for it to go on TV.
Yeah.
in that aspect.
Yeah.
But it is like a social experiment because like you can't use your phone, but you have to carry around this thing that's holding your phone.
Yeah.
So that I go to feel my back pocket where I stuff my phone normally.
Yeah.
And it's not there, and I'm waiting in line with my girlfriend for a drink, and I start like freaking out, and I'm holding the thing, and I look over to my hand, I go, wow, I was like, I'm a mentally broken person.
Yeah.
It's like, and then some dude comes out of nowhere, I've never met him, he was like, hey, hand clock guy, what's the time right now? And I go, and I look at my left wrist, and I was wearing my watch, which I never put my watch on.
Yeah.
So I was like, didn't even think about it. He called it hand clock.
How old was this guy?
Like probably 35, you know, like, and then I just told him the time.
That's hilarious.
And then like,
I love hand clock.
Hand clock.
Because it's not even on your hand, it's on your wrist.
I go, we've all had to be without our phones for 4 minutes collectively as a group of people, and we're all losing our fucking minds right now.
But that's I kind of love that moment, because that's what I've had, like that experience. I went and saw Chappelle when he did he showed the documentary that he made about doing the shows down in Yellow Springs during the pandemic, and then like he did some stand up and stuff too. He brought out Bone Thugs, and there's other comics on. It was a cool experience, but it was fun to just like kind of walk around on that concourse and like bump into people and just like sit and like have a drink and
I missed
like
out on
not
that.
Yeah,
because we were running late.
Okay,
and
well, we know that one.
We grabbed a bite to eat before the show, so it wasn't. We didn't have the chance because like by that point, I think he had 3 openers, and Donnell Rawlings was like halfway through his set.
Yeah.
So we stopped to get a drink.
Yeah.
Kind of saw some people. We didn't really run into anyone we knew, but then like we're going down to the floor, and I was like, I only get to see my girlfriend maybe once a week.
Yeah.
We're busy, so it's like splurged on some nice seats and shit. So she's like, we sit down, and she goes, I thought you were lost, and I go. Who is letting me just wander around the floor of a sold-out Quicken Loans or Romo Fijo show?
Yeah.
Like, do you think they're just letting me saunter up to these, So we sit down, and then, so then it's like, I get up, and it's like, the
did you see him when he was at Playhouse Square All-Star Weekend?
No.
Okay, that's the last time I saw him.
I saw him, like, literally, like, after his first sabbatical, after he left that Comedy Central deal.
Okay.
And he kind of made his return in, like, I want to say 2007 or 8.
Yeah.
And that was cool as shit because even we're talking 15 years ago.
That's when I met him. I met him before I ever saw him perform live.
Yeah, I was.
That's like the crazy thing. Like he was in New York at the Comedy Cellar, and I was there hanging out with Bobby Kelly, and he like sat down at her table and like talked with us. And shit.
I'm assuming he was cool.
He's great. Yeah.
Yeah. Just
he asked me about. I was wearing a Norton's Furniture shirt, and he's like, "What's that shirt, man?" And I was like, "Oh, it's this guy that makes weird commercials in Cleveland, and I wrote some sketches for him." He's like, "That's a weird answer."
Yeah, I mean, it's even the guy's been one of the most famous people on the planet now for over 20 years ish.
Yeah.
And so then I saw him in 2007. I think I saw him with Ramon in around 2015.
Yeah.
and I saw him Friday.
Yeah.
And then so like the show itself is great.
Did he do the material about how he cheats on his wife?
A little bit.
Okay.
It was all new shit because I didn't know this. He was recording for his new Netflix thing.
Okay.
So he didn't have any and no celebrities came on stage.
Yeah.
Like he was performing in the round.
Yeah.
In the center of the arena. And it was like no lecturing, just like jokes.
Yeah.
Like just him smoking cigarettes and taking shots and doing what he's done for more than half his life. And so then at a certain point, I'm like, I'd like mow through my fucking White Claw, like my first one. I was like, okay, I go, the bar is probably going to close. I got to go get a drink. And I go, there's no good time to get up. I'm rest assured the second I get up, he's probably going to do crowd work in our direction or whatever. So of course I get up, I go grab a drink for me and my girl and come back. I sit down and my girlfriend and the middle-aged couple she'd made friends with next to her are just staring at me and their eyes are just the size of saucers. And I go, what? And they just go, you'll never guess what he just did. And I go, did he talk to you guys from the stage while I went to go pee and get a White Claw? I go, no, he only did Jew jokes for like a solid 5 minutes. My girlfriend was like dying laughing, and her new friends sitting next to her who'd never met us were also crying laughing because they just looked at me and they just go, Jew. And then like I just go, well, he knew I left the room. He knew it was cool to fucking talk his shit or whatever.
He's gone now.
Did he leave yet?
Let's do it. That's hilarious. That's great.
But I will say this: the one thing I would never. It's not really a criticism. It felt like for a while he started to do like a lot of lecturing over doing comedy.
Yeah,
this was Walt, like wire to wire, just
jokes,
jokes.
Well, because he like, and that's kind of the stuff that he was doing with all the transgender stuff. Is people are like, oh, it's edgy, but I'm like, no, it just felt like a weird TED Talk trying to justify being kind of shitty, and like he like in his last few specials.
The corner it put me in, not to make it about myself.
Yeah, no,
but like I'm just
that's what Jews do, man.
You're welcome. We kind of created the whole industry.
Yeah.
Is it just like the trans stuff? I'm just like, it's just not funny to me. And I go, I can't just say I'm not enjoying this because then I'm a pussy or I'm a beta or I'm a cuck or it's like that thing. I'm just like, I get it, man.
Yeah.
Like you're trying to craft material around trans people, but I'm like, it's the third special you're like doing this with.
Yeah.
And
just,
I'm like,
the horse is dead. The horse is dead, man.
It's not even that I was like offended. It's just kind of like
it just got old. It just got old.
Yeah.
And I think he does a great job with like making comedy that is very poignant. But because he's put out so many specials, because for a long time the only one that we had was Killing Him Softly, which is one of the funniest comedy specials of all time. That HBO special that he put out in the 90s fucking rules. I think it was 99. And I remember watching that again and again and again when he's talking about Sesame Street and like Bill Clinton having a dick so famous that when you suck it, you get famous. Like that shit and the baby selling crack. I got kids. Like that shit was incredible.
So he's talking about big. He goes, wasn't aware that I was in the hood, but it had all these symptoms of being the hood.
Yeah. Yeah. And then he did For What It's Worth in 2005, right after the second season of Chappelle Show, I think. And that one was on Showtime. And I think that is his best special. I think it is not talked about a lot, but it has one of the best bits about just, he talks about, it's very poignant, it's very funny, but it is like one of those things that makes you think about things. He talks about a black kid that was charged for murder and some white kids that were not. And then also ties in R. Kelly and how old, and the whole thing is how old is 15? And he gives all these examples of, in this case, 15's an adult man. And in this case, they're just kids. And in this case, it's, a kid again. Like it's adult woman, whatever. Like, I can't remember exactly how it all went, but he lays it out so perfectly, and it brings it all together, and it's super funny, and it hits those notes of, oh, this is like watching Carlin right now.
Yeah.
Like, this is somebody that is saying something semi-prophetic. And then as he released more and more specials, it kind of, he's got moments of that, but it wasn't quite as consistent as powerful as that one. And that's also me knowing more about comedy and knowing, so like it doesn't hit quite the same.
Well, also he had to survive the thing of Chappelle's show being literally the biggest show on the planet for a few years, and a lot of comedians don't survive going back to stand up and remaining like that hungry or that urgent with what do you have when you have $50 million in the bank? What do you have to complain about comedically, or what do you have to talk about?
What do you have to talk about?
And he's been doing it. He's still at the top of his game. What, 30 years after starting?
Yeah,
Probably
he
longer.
started in the
when he's a teenager.
When he's a teenager,
and he's in his 50s.
So he's in his like early 50s now.
Yeah, dude. So he's been doing it for 35 plus years, and Eddie Murphy,
and he's
doesn't
masterful.
Even fucking do comedy
and so
anymore.
and this is the thing that people give me shit for, like, oh, you don't even like Chappelle or blah, blah, blah. I'm like, no, I think he's the best, but that's why I talk about him in a hypercritical way. It doesn't mean I don't think he's good. It's just I hold him to the standard of being the greatest.
Yep.
So when I talk about him, I go, okay, anybody else doing this stuff, I'd be like, oh yeah, but when it's Chappelle doing it, I'm comparing it against other Chappelle shit, and so that's when you go, okay, this is a few notches below what he did this time, and it's still light years ahead of what other people are doing, but it's
I mean, the guy could still read you a Starbucks order and you'd be laughing.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like he just words come out of his mouth and he's funny.
When he also is as much as he is famous and just another level kind of comedian, he's also just a dude that likes to tell jokes. And I'm glad that you got to see that, because I've seen that too, where he's just being silly and just kind of fucking around and just
he has not.
Yeah,
I mean,
and it's
you
great.
You could tell if he was dead broke, he'd still be doing it because that's what he needs to be doing.
Yeah,
it still felt that way with 20,000 people watching him.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like it feels intimate when he's in the middle of a massive crowd.
Right.
It's just like you said, he's one of one.
Mm-hmm.
In that regard.
Yeah. So that's cool. I wish I could have been there, but I had to be on stage doing my thing. Telling people about
20,000 people watching you.
There's a 20. There's 20. There's at least 20.
It was just everything is very crazy. My schedule's fucking nuts right now. And then it was like, we both had a Friday off, and I'm like, you do the scrambling thing when you're like,
did you buy the tickets that day?
Bought them like Wednesday.
Okay. And they were that,
dude,
yeah.
It's like, because my buddy who never goes to comedy shows said he was going to see Chappelle, and he goes, you should like check out the price of tickets. He's like, they're kind of
pretty
cheap.
reasonable. Yeah.
And I think because the Netflix thing, they might have priced them to move because they wanted a full house.
Yeah.
Maybe, but still for fucking third row on the floor. I mean, all that said, it was great. Yeah. It was something to do.
That's pretty cool. And we all watched Shane Gillis' new special.
Yes.
And you fucking loved it.
I did.
Tommy, what'd you think?
I thought he was very funny.
I've
never watched any of his stuff before.
I watched his other
I'm
special.
familiar with him, but I don't.
Again, this is me getting hypercritical.
Someone's got to.
Yeah. I think it's a very, very funny special. There's like I was laughing out loud. But then there's just like the comedy. When I know I'm really enjoying a special, it's when I forget that I am a comedian.
You're kind of taking notes, so
yeah.
to speak.
So like as I'm watching it with Joe Briggs, and like there's like lulls where me and him were just kind of like doing the same thing again, like. And so, as much as like the grilled cheese, I think is the highlight bit.
Uncle Danny with the
Uncle Danny with the grilled cheese is so fucking funny.
Yes.
It's so funny and so original, and so like I loved that part. The goth Australian which was that was really funny.
Great opener.
Great opener.
The last thing I would ever expect a guy that looks like that is to do humor about goths.
Yes, right.
So
yeah.
like, you know, and it's like, I don't want to go into paraphrasing the jokes or to even really try to do a cliff notes of the whole special. But yeah, the grilled cheese, because he goes into a whole, I mean, the meat of the episode is him talking about how there's members of his family with Down syndrome.
Yes, yeah.
And he looks like he's a tick away from getting
it. And
like
he goes, it's great comedy because it's not just him calling people retards for 5 minutes.
No,
he crafts some fucking hilarious comedy around it.
Anecdotal, which is very funny.
Yeah.
And the way that like the whole hiding grilled cheese, like I just, that part was so funny because it seems like it could have been low hanging fruit, and he elevates it and does a really great job of that.
He does the voice without coming off like he's being cold and cruel about the voice.
Yeah, you feel like,
do you know how hard that is to do? It'd be like you or me as a white man doing the black guy voice. Like, it just doesn't.
It's one of the things that makes Shane Gillis so good is he's very good at establishing characters within his set. Like, obviously we know that he does an incredible Trump.
Yes.
Like, his Trump is fucking flawless.
I didn't know that until he actually did it at the end of that set.
Oh, really?
I didn't know that.
But he did it in the other one in Live in Austin.
I don't know if I missed it. I don't know if I really just, because I think I was so fed up with Trump.
Yeah.
But
you
yeah,
blocked it out.
Yeah.
So he does
Crazy.
that in like an impeccable Trump impression. But then like the Australian, like the goth Australian doing that accent, that was really
you know how
good.
hard it is to do an Australian voice?
Right.
I've tried doing it.
Yeah.
It's
And
not
then
easy.
his uncle. And so like the thing that I love the most about this special is him showing his voice and character work, which was really like, which is the first time that I go, oh, I kind of wish I would have seen this dude on SNL now. Because he's had, like, he was supposed to be on SNL, got fired before we got to see him, and now I kind of go.
He got fired the day he got announced as a cast member.
Yeah.
What happened? I briefly know just from like Corinne Fisher.
So he had a podcast where he was talking about Chinatown, and he was doing like Asian voice and talking about, like, he was being really racist about
the
it.
C word and not the woman C word,
Okay.
the CH word.
Okay.
Yeah. And so he was being pretty racist, and they had just hired their first Asian cast member with him.
Oh,
so like,
Jesus.
this doesn't look good if we're hiring this guy that's doing this kind of shit.
This is like when all of Twitter could get you fired within minutes, and that's exactly what happened.
That's what happened. So
it's frustrating.
He got fired, and then became like a darling of the anti-cancel culture people, but then he's smarter than that. He's a funnier guy than that.
Outlasted that wave of being like that crowd,
right? And he could have just leaned into that and been like, like, yeah, fuck them, and just been like,
yeah, he could have ran straight to them,
them,
and made millions.
But he built an audience, and he's obviously crafted great jokes and a great persona, and he doesn't really give a fuck, but he also like there's a lot of talent behind what he's doing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he's a level of talent that was gonna
be okay one way or another. And honestly,
he survived his worst one regrettable moment years ago, that in because he's that funny. If he wasn't that funny, he would have washed up.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And so I did like the special a lot. There is a lot of jerk off motion and finger motion, and that's gay. Like using that same punchline again and again and again. And that was like the only thing that, like, me and Joe Briggs, while we're watching this, like, he's kind of doing that a lot. Like, and I think he's capable of more. So that's, again, like me comparing him against himself. All the other funny stuff that he's doing, and that shit felt beneath the level of writer that he is.
I feel like a lot of it,
and I'm also just hypercritical of that shit because it's hacky. It's like doing the jerk off motion a bunch of times. Like, he did it a lot of times.
No, I'm not defending that. I think when he was saying that's gay was contextual a lot too, because he was just basically just talking about how, without giving away the special, there was the one bit where he's talking about how dumb America was.
Yeah.
And then he was saying,
well, but that's the first time he did it, and that one, like, it led into some the bit about
Men that are good at sex.
men are good at sex, but then it was just like,
Which,
but
I'm
also
sorry, I thought that was fucking hilarious.
no, and again, they're
Very
good
funny.
jokes, but it was a lot of jerk off motions, a lot of that's gay, and like again, these are minimal things, but it's just things that me watching it with another comedian noticed a lot.
Well, no, it wouldn't be.
Yeah.
Also, Bill, it wouldn't be interesting if we sat here for 20 minutes. Like, oh, did you like that joke? I love that.
Yeah.
Joke. I liked that.
So-
That joke was very funny.
And it's just one of those things where I thought it went to that well a lot of times.
Yeah,
and
I think that's.
and he
fair.
also gets a lot. I mean, you could tell that crowd was hyped up to see him because that's the difference between a
What
good
was- I think he was in West Virginia.
and they were fucking.
Is that
losing
where
his
he
mind.
was?
Yeah,
Oh.
but they loved him,
Virginia.
and it made such. Yeah, I think it was Virginia.
Well, you don't want to film your special on.
Well, no,
on
of
hostile
course, but
territory,
it made some things that like were like just kind of set up jokes and like kind of throwaway lines. Like you guys are losing your minds a little too. Like let's get to the better shit. So I don't know.
I mean, I think a little.
And this is
bit.
really like petty little things. Like again, very very funny
I think
special.
I'm trying to think if I have of any criticisms I have about it. It's just too hard because I've never done a special. You know,
Yeah.
I've never done longer than 7 minutes of comedy.
Mhm.
So it's like, to me, like, if you can get me more than once, like 3 or 4 times I was sitting by myself and I was audibly like
Laughing, yeah.
cracking
Same.
up. I was
Yeah.
like, okay, this is a good special.
Yeah.
Because a lot of times I'm sure I'm like you, where you'll just listen and you kind of slip into the mode of you're just trying to like critically think about what you're listening to.
Well, and like that's the thing is I don't want to critically think about it.
Sure.
I want to
you want to enjoy it.
enjoy it
Yeah.
for it being a special. So like when he sets up the whole America at the beginning where he's like, yeah, but they had the shootings. He's like, yeah, but we're not going to do anything about it. Like, it's a big problem. We're not going to do anything about it. Like, I'm like, okay, I'm in. I'm like,
I think that's the point where he's towing a line where he could very easily lean into being part of like the anti-cancel culture.
right. Oh, and he does that masterfully. Like
Libertarian.
he walks that line, and like the whole bit about like, I'm not Republican, but I can see certain things.
becoming-
Yeah, like
That
pushing
to
that
me
way.
is,
Like I think it's
why it's such a great special.
Yeah.
right, exactly, and that's the line he walks, and he's doing it in because I think there's a lot of people that feel that way, that have, and it makes the political stuff so much more relatable than just like, look how fucking dumb Biden is, or look how dumb Trump is. It's looking at it kind of objectively and just being like, it's all pretty
It's all fucked.
stupid. Yeah. And then the way he analyzes Trump with the beautiful dogs, like it was so fucking
Well, because that impression, like, look,
it's so good.
I'm amazed after as much as I fucking hated the man for 4 years, I finally, like, I think went through withdrawals where I'm like, okay, he's funny. Like Trump's funny.
Yeah.
And somehow I could watch it and I'm still laughing at it because you would think we've put up with this now for 7 years. Yeah. We'd be exhausted of it, but what the fuck else is there to talk about?
Right.
Yeah.
He's still all we have to talk about.
Well, and then also just the way he set certain things up, I really enjoyed, like the kangaroo video where he did the callback when he's like, and I felt like I was like at the kangaroo and like did that physical comedy, because his physical comedy is not over the top. He's not Sebastian Maniscalco where he's running around and doing things, but like
No,
he
it's
kind of
just
stands
enough.
there. He's very stoic, but then when he hits you with something like that,
The grilled cheese story.
it's
especially.
yeah, especially the grilled cheese story. So like, yeah, he's very precise with those faces and act outs where they're not huge, they're not over the top, and that's probably my favorite thing about him is because I don't particularly love big over the top, like when Sebastian Maniscalco's up on stage and he's like moving all around, like I
Italian Dane Cook.
yeah, Italian Dane, like it's not my thing anymore. Like I used to love Dane Cook, but like I kind of like graduated to like a different type of, and not
It's-
even
it's
I like the subtlety of it
You can't
because
keep-
it's not punching you in the face, and he's just
Yeah.
letting you like, you know why this is funny.
It's like with Jim Carrey. If you're always going to the well of doing wild physical stuff, you
Yeah.
just, I don't care how amazing and impressive it is. It's just like after 45 minutes of it, you're like, you know,
Yeah,
It's a lot.
It's like 45 minutes of anal porn.
Yeah.
Sure, I watch it.
Nobody
guess.
watches the whole porn, man.
Whole thing, man.
45 minutes.
I don't know. Sometimes I got time to burn. I really want to see where the plot goes. And
You're criticizing the
like,
porn
I need to
like he does the
some
stand-up.
twists.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, like at this point, I'm just.
You want me
yeah.
to get into some note taking and some box checking? Let's
Anal.
I like the
videos.
characters that our asshole is doing.
Let's talk about Lonely MILF 7.
Yeah, there we
filmed
go.
in Van Nuys.
We did get to the sex.
Yes, we did.
As if there was any doubt.
So yeah, I feel like it was a very good special. I think probably the best special I've seen this year. And I just
There's
had those
so
two.
many specials. Like,
There's
I
so
hate
many
being that
specials,
guy. Like,
but-
dude, it's like.
No, Kanane's my favorite this year.
Yeah.
Kanane is Shocks and Struts is my favorite, and then that one's right up there with it.
It's just like, but in a sea of like Netflix and shit, it's like if it's not someone I'm a fan of, like Kyle
Yeah.
or Patton, it's like I don't. How can you just be scrolling and surfing for new comedy specials on Netflix?
But people do though, and
don't
there's so
have
many on
time.
YouTube,
I
and
don't
but
have
I see I
YouTube.
love watching them though.
I do.
I love and like again like putting something on in the background. Bargatze's new special was on Amazon. That was good. I haven't watched the new.
I'm not even
one yet.
arguing it like in the same way that there's a ton of good scripted television that's been out for the last 5 to 7 years. I don't doubt all of it's great. I just don't have the time.
Yeah.
Right.
It's a lot.
It's also too like it's. I mean, I like to hear what these guys are doing and make sure that they've earned that audience.
Well, yeah, you.
Yeah.
I am more of a fan, and I come at it way more of a fan because I'm not in the business like you are.
But there's just but I do just enjoy it too. And also the thing about comedy specials is they're not that long. Like even if they're an hour's not that long
Shouldn't
to do
feel
a
like an
something,
hour.
and it never does.
And that was
if it's a good one, it doesn't feel like it.
I would never think Chappelle would get boring, but like Chappelle's hour flew by.
Yeah.
Because you know, for a while he was getting a reputation where he'd go on for like 3
2
hours,
3 hours,
and felt like
yeah.
and I was kind of worried about that.
Yeah.
But like he didn't, you know.
Yeah.
You know, and I think back in 15 or 16 when me and Ramona saw him, he threatened to leave. I think early a couple times because people kept yelling Rick James and shit, and that was a fucking thing. But yeah, he you know, there's no fat on those bones of what he was doing.
Yeah. No, it's fun to see. What was he wearing?
Oh, he's still committed to wearing like, you know, you know how he had like super white sneakers on.
Yeah.
I couldn't tell you who made them. They looked like Air Force Ones without like the Nike
I know which ones you're
swooshes.
talking about. Yeah.
He had like, and then he had like the Chappelle patched, like super. It looked like a doctor's coat, but it was black.
Okay.
And then it just had the Chappelle patch on the sleeve, and then he had like black slacks on, and then he just was like, he would took a couple drinks and stuff.
Yeah.
And
So when I saw him at Playhouse Square, he was wearing a fishnet, like tiny fishnet top that was like long with like a tank top underneath it, like a tight, like kind of like wife beater, but black.
Yeah.
And then like tight black pants, and then platform kind of what was that? It was like kind of Chucks, but they were like chunkier. They looked like shoes Tommi would wear.
Like creepers?
Kinda, yeah.
He's been known fashion wise to
take some chances.
Go out there
Yeah.
every
But
now
like
and
He
then.
can do whatever the fuck he wants.
Yeah, the fish net top was very like, you're like, what? And he's like, all these gays say I don't like them. I got their clothes on. Like, like
he does forever have that bratty fucking that, you know, that thing where he's just like, you can't, I won't without getting
you
into
can't pin him down.
No, dude, he's Mount Rushmore, all-time Mount Rushmore comedian.
All right, what's your Mount Rushmore?
Don't do this to me.
Oh yeah, you just brought it up.
My personal favorites, Kyle, Patton. I think I'd have to put Dave up there, and I think I'd have to put Patrice.
Patrice, all right.
I mean, that's just off the top of my head.
That's a good list, though.
For sure, Kyle and Patton.
Yeah.
Half of them.
Yeah. Tommi, do you have
I don't have a list. I'm sorry.
You can't
You
think
didn't
of
tell me.
something?
I don't. I
didn't know
haven't
we were gonna
watched
do it. I didn't
enough.
even know we were going to talk about it.
I don't have enough
Just
experience.
Just put me on the list.
Yakov
That's all I
Bill.
know. Yeah.
Yakov Smirnoff, Jeff Dunham. I'm giving Thomas's right now.
Okay.
Jeff Dunham.
Jeff Dunham, you love him.
No.
You never
He's
shut the fuck up.
puppets, yeah.
Paula Poundstone.
Oh, no.
Puppets are like the anime of stand-up.
Oh, no, they're not. Puppets are creepy.
Puppets
No.
are.
I got news for you, Tommy.
I made a Fist of the North Star reference to Tommy the other day. I think it's Sent Her into the Fifth Dimension, where she's like, "How did you know what that was?" And I go, "It's like literally like a top 5 all-time,
Yeah.
like legendary." And I go, "You really thought I only watched like the first 3 pages of Brazzers like in my free time?" Like,
Yeah, I definitely
my
did.
top 4 would be Dave Attell, Dave Chappelle, Carlin, and who's my 4th? It's very tough. I'm gonna go a little out of the box here.
Dave, Carlin,
And I'm gonna go Brian Regan.
Okay, yeah, I could see that.
Yeah, I love Brian Regan.
I think he shows up a lot in your stuff. I feel like
he's and I've
influence-wise.
been able to open for him, and he's just so fucking good. I mean,
He's another
Patrice is
guy.
up there too. It's tough to put that 4 up there. And Carlin is one of those things where like I came very late to Carlin. Like I'd never watched him when I was a kid. And then it's more his stuff over the past few years, but the way it's still relevant, if not more relevant than when he wrote it. Stuff about boomers, stuff about abortion, stuff about, the Catholic Church and all this stuff. He's just next level when it comes to being able to break down society. Like his social commentary is, there's never been anybody that's been able to do it like him.
Yeah, I mean, I won't.
I'm close, but like
you're right there. No, Carlin, I don't think is one I really dove into enough.
Mhm.
We've all seen like the stuff his greatest hits, so to speak. But
Right.
yeah, to see guy go make the jump from just being like your standard professional showman into like really talking about some interesting shit.
Yeah.
It's an interesting
But
jump
like,
to make.
I mean, Kyle and Patton are right up there, but like, I kind of look at it like who is inspiring these people.
Mhm.
So like like I love Kyle Kinane. I think he's one of the funniest people alive. Even like John Mulaney, I would love to put him up there, but like for the Mount Rushmore, it's there's more. I'm gonna put more historical weight up there.
John to me is like,
And then Dave Attell is just the funniest man alive.
yeah, I think if you're a comedian,
Yeah.
there's no way you can't. He
He's
doesn't
just-
at least get an honorable mention in a top 4 with every working comedian. But Mulaney, to me, like, for as great as I think he is, there's just something about it that does not
Resonate.
not for me. Yeah, like I would never argue how great and funny and good it is, but for some reason when I watch it, it's just not for me.
And that like it always bums me out when people don't like Mulaney as much as I do, because I think he's so fucking good at telling stories, but then also just making things like finding a backdoor into talking about something that's difficult to talk about. And I love that. Like his bit about Trump is the whole bit about there's a horse in the hospital. So he never says Trump's name one time, but everybody knows he's talking about Trump. And that bit is just flawless.
It's like the band Rush, where it's just I
Yeah,
can't
okay,
explain it
yeah.
to you. Like it's just like
Yeah.
it's like yes, I agree. Technically, it's unbelievable. It
Mhm.
just
So
when
But
I
it
sit
just
down and
doesn't
listen
bring
to
it- yeah.
it doesn't.
Yep.
I like guys that talk about like just like Kyle. I think tapped into something besides the fact that we're the same age and our life has kind of had the same
Trajectory of
creative
it. Yeah.
trajectory for the
Yeah.
most part. His more successful. Just there's an acknowledgement about how dumb everything is,
Mhm.
and there's never a loss. It's still about making people laugh.
Yeah.
It's not about trying to get to like becoming anything deeper or
Yeah.
more larger than being a comedian that's out there to tell dumb stories and make
Yeah.
people laugh.
But he does still make deeper.
He does because he doesn't lose sight of
Yeah.
what it's like me with art. It's like, yeah, I just draw pictures.
Yeah.
I don't ever want, I think the second Kyle would ever let it get into his head that he was doing anything more than telling jokes on stage, the ride would be over for him.
Mm-hmm.
He would be mailing it in. It's the same thing with me. It's just like, I don't ever, you know, for as much as people compliment my work or say this or that, it's like, yeah, it's okay, fucking great. Like, if I die tonight, the world continues to spin. I'm not saving lives out here.
Maybe you are, though.
You don't know.
Well, guys, all right, let's just calm
You are
down.
a cop after all.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, you're taking lives, probably. You're a cop.
I don't. And then I think, like, Patton, you know, like, I saw Kyle, the first time I saw Kyle was opening for Patton. So that was kind of like...
I've still never seen Patton live.
I mean...
and that's another, like, I have him, like, I met him when he was doing the Kings of Comedy tour, because they went to Norton's Furniture.
Oh, yeah.
So I met him and Posehn and Eugene Merman. And
Maria Bamford.
Maria Bamford, yeah, but she didn't go with them to Norton's Furniture because they went.
I was at that show.
Yeah,
but you didn't see Patton perform?
No, because I had a show that night.
Oh,
so I saw, like, I heard they were going to be at Norton's Furniture the next day, and so me and Jim Tews went there and, like, hung out with them for a little bit. Yeah, you got a picture.
That's interesting.
Yeah. So I've never seen Patton perform live, but he is also one of those guys that is
seen Patton
brilliantly funny
3 or 4 times.
Yeah.
So
it's just every time he's in town, I'm busy doing something.
Well, yeah,
else,
that's an understandable excuse.
And he
Patrice, I got to see twice, I think, before he.
I got to work with Patrice.
That's fucking awesome.
I got to do like a weekend at Hilarities. You know who Miss Pat is?
Miss Pat?
Yeah.
No.
Okay, so Miss Pat is a very famous comedian. She was just starting at that time. She was hosting. I was featuring, and Patrice was headlining. And this is when Opie and Anthony was still like together, and like before I don't even think they were on Sirius yet. I think they were still just on XM. And Anthony Cumia came out to the show because he was hooking up with a girl here in Cleveland. So I was like doing shots with him. It was before he got way more like racist and stuff. I mean, he's still racist back then, but like not. But like he came out to see Patrice.
Yeah.
So I got to hang out with Patrice, like have like human moments with Patrice where we talked about being stepdads and stuff, and then like perform in front of that audience, which was great, and then watch him just fucking annihilate. Like I've never seen anybody annihilate live. Like just so goddamn funny. Just like tearing that room to shreds.
Yeah, dude. It's literally anything in the world happens to this date, and I just go, what would Patrice say about that?
Yeah.
like
and the thing is, you can never nail down what his take was going to be. That's what was so interesting about him is he had such original, thoughtful takes, but they were so goddamn funny.
Yeah, man. Like I was like, I don't think you wrote a word out of what you were going to come out and do tonight. I think you just literally came up, did murdered for like a straight hour.
Yeah, he had like a few bits. Like he had a few bits that he would tell, but then he'd weave in and out. He'd do crowd work. He was just he was one of a kind.
Yeah. I mean, like crowd work always took like a special talent to me, but when he did it, what's that?
He's got a bit.
Tolu, yes.
Tolu, yeah, on one of his albums.
Oh no, Tolu.
Like what do you own? A car? That don't count.
He just like literally like doesn't even say hi to the audience. He goes, "You with her?"
Yeah.
Old bitch. he goes, how old are you? And then you hear Bill Grundy goes, see now why would you be helping her right now?
Yeah.
That was 40% of the episode was just him talking wild shit.
And like making people not like him, and then making them by the end of it they were in love with him.
Yeah.
It was incredible.
Yeah, he's
another one missed. Like because I got to talk with him, and then like I remember working with Bobby Kelly, and like they were just on the phone, and Bobby's like, "Are you all right, man?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm listening to 2 of my favorite fucking comedians of all time have a conversation. I'll be fine just sitting here listening to this."
Bobby, I saw Bobby.
Bobby kills too.
Yeah, I saw Bobby at the Grog Shop in Stavros open.
Yeah,
like fucking
Stavros forgot his fucking sweater that time, and then I had to mail it back to him.
But yeah, I mean, Stavros is coming back to town in
October.
A few weeks. Yeah.
October's got crazy. Like Theo's coming, Bill Burr's coming. He's gonna be in Canton. Stavi's coming. Who else? Jim Gaffigan's coming soon.
There's a couple
crazy.
other.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure, but
there's one more in.
September and October for any kind of show is always nuts.
Yeah, like, there's one more in
Tommy
October, like
Danzig.
The same time as like it's like Stavro, it's Theo, Bill Burr, and there's one more. Really, Anthony Jeselnik.
Where's he coming to?
He's coming to Playhouse Square.
I got to see that.
Yeah.
I haven't seen him yet.
I've never seen him live either. He's
Yeah, I want to see that.
I'll do that. I'll go to that with you.
Hell yeah.
If I have a show on the 7th, but I'll go to any other shows, and I'm gonna try and see if I can go hang out with Theo.
Yeah. I got asked to do
Tommy,
comedy.
why do girls love Theo so much?
Dude, you know how many people texted me saying, "Hey, does Bill have the hookup?" I'm like, shut the fuck up.
Dude, Theo Von and Matt Rife, I'm not trying to stereotype. I've never heard more white women ask
their
me
minds
if I
over it,
like
yeah.
two comedians
Yeah.
than
Yeah.
fucking Theo Von and Matt Rife.
Yeah.
Theo Von is fucking funny though.
He's very funny.
Dude,
He's
Matt
very
Rife might
funny.
be
Yeah,
funny. I'm
yeah.
not going to even, this isn't me.
I
even
honestly
taking
don't know
shots.
Matt either.
Yeah.
It's
I just
his
could tell you those
Matt's
two.
funny because remember we tried to watch that one bit, like, and we were like, oh shit, we were like laughing, and we watched like one of his bits.
Yeah,
and it's
dude,
funny.
this isn't even like me taking
Yeah.
shots. It's just like these
But
two
they women love him.
they only exist to me in 15-second long podcast clips or crowd work clips.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, I'm not even like, it was like, I've never heard, I don't know of any actual stand-up that they've done.
I like Theo's clips better. I've listened to his podcast and watched it a few times, and some of it, I can relate to, but some of it we also do not have like the same views on life. So
Theo,
more
what
of the
example?
serious stuff. Yeah. Like he's just very like the way he talks about sex workers sometimes is just like a little off, and then
Which is weird because he was a sex worker.
Was he?
Theo.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
He used to go around
I'm sure
doing
it's-
doing orgasms for ladies.
Huh.
Wait, what do you mean?
Like he
Like they wanted it, right?
yeah.
Okay,
yes,
okay.
yeah.
I was like,
No,
it was
he
supposed to be
wasn't
canceled or
raping
something?
people. No.
I don't know. There's a lot of comedians that you have to
there
question.
was a name for it, and like he would go to like, and he would just
Was he like fingering chicks?
he was fingering chicks
Yeah.
like
Oh,
for
nice.
like.
Okay.
No, I didn't even think he was getting paid for it. I think it was just like a service that was provided.
Was he just a
But he-
horny
he-
dude?
he
that
likes-
just
No,
wanted to
because it
finger
wasn't like
chicks?
hot women. It was like they're like, oh man, he talked about it on radio shows a while ago.
Yeah.
Like I think it was when it was like Opie and Anthony split up. I think
Tommy
he
was-
talked
He
about
likes God. He wants like
Ugh.
married and kids. So I'm like, we don't have much
Yeah.
But here's the
in
thing:
relation in that aspect.
I
if he
still
was
think you-
really
Although
funny,
if you hang out with him,
it. Yeah.
like, if he was really funny, that shit, like, because to me the best comedy is when someone says some shit I don't agree with or believe in, and
makes
I'm
it
still
funny, yeah.
laughing. Like,
oh no, I'm not even talking about comedy in that aspect. Like his
Oh, it's
comedy
just like-
doesn't. I don't get offended by comedy. It's just like the
Him
conversation in the podcast.
actual-
that's
Who
my
he
point.
is, yeah.
'cause It's
Yeah.
like, it's like, okay, so like it's just these are dudes like talking about fantasy football. And that's the only way these people exist to me.
Yeah.
Or Matt Rose,
Yeah.
like, who you here with them? What do you do for a living?
Mhm.
You guys together? How old are you?
Yeah.
And then it's just crowd work, which is something that requires a lot of talent.
Yeah,
I'm just saying, I don't.
yeah. Theo, I get it. It's just I still listen to his podcast. It's just sometimes I'm like, yeah, this is kind of boring.
Yeah, I don't.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll give it a listen.
Although, what? So you're asking why? I mean, Matt obviously he's a
He
beautiful
doesn't
man.
have shit on. I mean, I guess I live
Okay.
literally on Spotify. He doesn't have shit on Spotify.
So it used to be Theo did orgasmic meditation
I have
is
to
what is it called.
tell my best friend about that.
And
She's gonna lose her mind.
I know he shares it on his podcast with
This sounds like
Nikki Glaser.
this sounds like those motivational speaker dudes that I laugh at on TikTok. Orgasmic meditation.
But I know I've heard him talk about it on other.
I'm sorry, I would not. If he was trying to give me an orgasm, I would just be like, what? I can't take him seriously.
That's probably how he'd get you in bed, though.
But this is before he like blew up too. This is,
definitely.
Women love.
I mean, that's
goofy
why. That's
motherfuckers, yeah.
why. That is your answer.
Lord
Rat
knows
King's gonna
Goofy
make you
got me
come.
more than I ever
and he calls him, isn't he the Rat King?
Oh, the Rat King. Yeah.
Tell the Rat King how you like it.
Oh, Pete Davidson's coming. Speaking of,
Oh,
Yes,
that's right.
he's-
Yeah.
speaking
I-
of goofy dudes that
yeah.
lay pipe.
Somehow, I mean,
Oh,
I get it. I
um,
get that one too.
I need to do an intro for. I'm gonna add. All right, so let's wrap this episode up, and then we're gonna add an intro to next week's episode because I have an announcement.
Oh yeah.
And by the time this one comes out, it's that I'm performing at the Agora. So I'm recording a special there. But we need to record that.
Is this going on the air? What we're talking about right now?
What this will go on, but this will be next week's. Like this will be like 2 weeks down the road.
Okay.
So all right.
All right.
So thank you guys for checking out this episode. We'll see you guys next week at Tommy LC.
Yep. OnlyFans, please.
At OK Pants.
Okay, Pants, OnlyFans. I don't
check
have
your
an
many
OnlyFans.
vids more often, Tommy.
I know.
For the fart guy.
For the fart guys. Yeah, they want it so bad.
And then,
2 years ago.
Yeah. Sorry, fart guy.
Sorry, fart guy.
I know, I'm so sorry. I'm sure there's more.
And then we will see you guys next week.
Bye.